What's going on, you guys? It's Scott from Fly Rides back again today with another quick tech tip. We are getting back into these for you guys so that you can become a better e-bike owner. You can know a little bit more about your bike. Today, we are going to be teaching you how to remove the front wheel from your bike. A pretty standard and easy tech tip, but you do need to know how to do it for a lot of reasons. Sometimes you get a flat tire out there. Maybe you want to put your bike in the back of your car because you haven't, for whatever insane reason, committed to getting a tray rack yet, and you're going to transport the bike, and you need to take off that front wheel so everything fits in there. Whatever the reason is that you need to take off your front wheel, we've got you covered. Unless, of course, you have a front hub motor e-bike, which you shouldn't have anyway. Get rid of that thing immediately and buy a mid-drive motor e-bike. That's my other tech tip of the day. Don't buy a front hub motor bike. This episode of the Unapologetic E-Bike Snob is brought to you by anything except for front hub motors. So Hector is going to be walking you through how to take that front wheel off on any e-bike, actually any acoustic bike either. This should be pretty useful for you guys as well. So you're welcome, acoustic bike world, even though you hate us sometimes. We just want everyone to be a better bike owner. Hector, take it away.
Thank you, Scott. Let's talk about how to remove your front wheel. First off, we want to make sure your bicycle is in a safe place so that your bike doesn't roll away from you. You want to make sure you set your kickstand down and make sure your bike is balanced. You may also want to turn your bike upside down as long as the cables and brakes on top of your handlebars aren't going to be affected if you have your bike upside down. So let's take a look at what through axle you're working with on your fork. So there are a few types out there. There's a bolt-on, there's a quick release, there's a SR Suntour proprietary fork, and your typical skewer that you would need to release before you can take your wheel off. So RockShox and Fox forks typically come with a bolted on or quick release through axle. So you will need an Allen wrench to simply unrelease the through axle, kind of like you would unscrew a typical screw. Or you can unlatch the axle and then spin the whole axle counterclockwise to remove the axle from the fork. For specific SR Suntour forks, you will come across a proprietary through axle. For that, you will need to release the latch first, push in the end, the opposite end of the latch, and turn counterclockwise or clockwise just a little bit so that it locks the end in place, and then you can pull the entire axle out safely. So what you're used to seeing on other bikes is having an axle with a skewer that goes straight through the hub. So with that, all you really need to do is release the latch, unscrew it a few times, and the wheel should be able to come right off from the bottom of the dropouts of the fork. If you happen to unscrew it too far and a spring comes off at the end with the nut, simply make sure that the cone ends are facing towards each other, and making sure that the small end is closer to the actual hub of the bicycle, whereas the wider end is going to be towards the actual bolt or the latch. But you also don't need to pull this all the way out to release the wheel from the fork. Now that you have removed your through axle, you can carefully remove your wheel. So that basically just means that you pull your through axle and the wheel will slip right from underneath the fork dropouts. Keep in mind not to press your brake lever or pull your brake lever. Make sure that you put a block in between your brake pads, otherwise you can lock those brake pads together. You definitely want to make sure you put that brake block in between your brake pads in your caliper before you transport it. That's happened many a times where you're moving your bicycle around, putting it on your truck, and all of a sudden you press your lever down all the way and you lock your brakes together. When you're ready to put your wheel back on, make sure that you align the rotor with your brake caliper. That's actually one of the most important things. You want to make sure that your rotor isn't hitting anything along the way, making sure that the wheel sits right back into the dropouts of the fork. And the dropouts, again, is just that area at the bottom of the fork that holds or cups the axle of your wheel, of the hub. Then you throw in the entire through axle. You tighten it down to spec. You don't need to tighten it extremely hard. Keep in mind, this still is fragile aluminum. You don't want to over tighten any of that. And after it's all tightened down and snug, all the latches are put back together, you're ready to ride.
That is our tech tip for the day. Like this video and subscribe to this channel so you can see more tech tips. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you would like to see to make yourself a better e-bike owner, and we'd be happy to teach you. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.